John Adams, one of the giants of the American Revolutionary period, said, "Democracy will envy all, contend with all, endeavor to pull down all. And when by chance it happens to get the upper hand for a short time, democracy will be revengeful, bloody, and cruel." America was founded not as a democracy, but as a constitutional republic. We pledge allegiance to the republic for which our flag stands, not to a democracy. The Constitution requires a republican form of government for all states, but does not mention democracy, and neither does the Declaration of Independence or the Bill of Rights. Someone asked him what kind of government the convention had given America, and Franklin replied, "A republic, if you can keep it." Very old and very wise, Franklin saw through the mists of time to the day when Americans might trade their freedom in a constitutional republic for the promise of government guaranteed equality and security in a democracy. And beyond that, to the day when democracy inevitably degenerates into dictatorship, guaranteeing nothing but poverty and serfdom for the people it robs and rules.
I don't know who that is, and I searched and I could not find who it is. But I think I might want to cut. You know who it is?
I do. It is Howard Dan Smoot.
Swoot.
Smoot.
Oh, Smoot.
Smoot.
I think he ran for president. Smoot. I want to say that he at some point in time in the 60s or in the 50s, he ran for president. I know that name. In any event, it's a wonderful little clip. I think I'm going to write the script up and cut it myself and modernize it because I have the quote. So I just wanted to share because he gave great quotes. Let me give you the context of the quotes. He mentioned Edmund Randolph. Edmund Randolph is in my movie, The Spirit of 76. Go get it in the Founders Trading Post store. Shop.mikechurch.com while you're shopping for cigars and great books. Pre-order, by the way, we have our account set up with Steinman und Schuster. And we will be a proud bookseller of all that Steinman and Schuster. Yes, I am very well aware of the bad books they publish. There is no need for you to go in any of the signal chats and remind everyone of all the awful stuff because all publishers publish crap, including Steinman und Schuster. But they are publishing Jack Posobiec and Joshua Lissek's Unhuman book. I got my review copy yesterday, so I have it. It's for pre-sale. It'll ship around July the 9th or so. So pre-order you a hardback copy, and I will make sure that the day we get them, we'll send it to you. So don't get Posobiec and Lissek's book from any other bookstore because we have it in the Founders Trading Post store, shop.mikechurch.com. I looked this up on your behalf. Edmund Randolph is in The Spirit of 76, writing and ratifying the Constitution. 3 CD set or the 2 DVD disc movie that we made back in 2009 is still available at shop.mikechurch.com. If you don't have a copy, you should get one. Here is what what Edmund Randolph actually said in context. This is from Max Farron's records of the Federal Convention of 1787. Quote, this is James Madison's notes. Mr. Randolph said he could not then point out the exact number of members for the Senate, but he would observe that they ought to be less than the House of Commons. He was for offering such a check as to keep up the balance and to restrain, if possible, the fury of, drum roll please, drum roll, democracy, the fury of democracy. He thought it would be impossible for the state legislatures to appoint the senators because it would not produce the check intended. The first branch of the federal legislature should have the appointment of the senators, and then the check would be complete. Imagine that. Edmund Randolph thought that Congress, the House of Representatives, ought to appoint the members of the U.S. Senate. pretty sure that Randolph lost that argument. Roger Sherman, as mentioned by Howard Smoot in the clip we just played. Here's what he actually said, and the way James Madison recorded it in the convention. Mr. Sherman opposed the election by the people, insisting that it, quote, ought to be by the state legislatures. The people, he said, should have, now listen to this, the people, he said, immediately after that, should have as little to do as maybe about the government. They want information and are constantly liable to be misled. Close quote. I think we should give Roger Sherman the gold star of the day. I now wish to pronounce myself as a proud Roger Shermanite. I think he nailed it. Yep, nailed it. Got that one. The people are constantly liable to be misled. They shouldn't have anything to do with this new government. Elbridge Gerry, from which we get the term gerrymandering. Didn't know that, did you people? Quote, the evils, and this is, Roger Sherman said what he had to say. Elbridge Gerry was the next up. Quote, the evils we experience flow from the excess of democracy. The people do not want virtue, but are the dupes of pretended patriots. Close quote. And then Mr. Swoot mentioned John Adams, so let's close with this from John Adams. What did Adams say about democracy? Well, here we go. In a letter that, and again, I told you people, I did all this extra research for you because we try to get it right here. And I love American history, number one. And I love for you to know American history. Too bad more if you don't love it as much as I do. Subject for another discussion. Adams to Jefferson on the 16th of July, 1814. Quote, our hopes, however, of sudden tranquility ought not to be too sanguine. Fanaticism and superstition will still be selfish, subtle, intriguing, and at times furious. Despotism will still struggle for domination. Monarchy will study to rival nobility in popularity. Aristocracy will continue to envy all above it and despise and oppress all below it. Democracy, but that's a really great statement about aristocracy. That's what our ruling elites today, the synthesis of all tyrannies, that's what they do. Anything that's above them, God, they hate it. Anything below them, they sneer their noses at us. How you like that? Adams was right. Will continue to envy all above it and despise and oppress all below it. Democracy, John Adams wrote to Thomas Jefferson, will envy all, contend with all, endeavor to pull down all. And when by chance it happens to get the upper hand for a short time, it will be revengeful, bloody, and cruel. These and other elements of fanaticism and anarchy will yet for a long time continue a fermentation which will excite alarms and require vigilance. Close quote. John Adams to Thomas Jefferson here on the Crusade Radio Network.